Welcome to May Tha Queendom Come, your home for conversations about women in hip hop and R&B around the world. I'm your host Malkia Music. I'm a DJ, producer, events curator, and vibes navigator. And today we're shining a spotlight on one of Africa's brightest stars, Tems. So now you know that Tems for her voice, it's soulful, it's raw, it's unforgettable. From Essence with Wizkid to working with Beyonce on Renaissance to other Oscar nominated Black Panther soundtracks. Tems has shown the world that Africa women are not just part of the culture, we are the culture. But today we're not just talking about her music. We're talking about her impact beyond the stage through her new project called the Leading Vibe Initiative. This is more than just music, it's about changing the industry for women in Africa. And trust me, this is a conversation we need to have. So let's start with a little context about Tems. Temilade Openi is a full name, better known as Tems. She broke out globally in just a few short years. She came up in Lagos, balancing her creative vision with an industry that wasn't exactly built for women. She's had to push through industry barriers, sexism, and the pressure to fit into boxes. But instead, she really created her own lane, alternative R&B with African soul in it. I would describe it like that, and the world took notice for sure. So think about it. In just the past 5 years, Tems has gone from uploading music on SoundCloud, uploading her songs on SoundCloud to Grammy wins, a Golden Globe nomination, and collaborations with Drake, Future, Beyonce, and just the other day, Justin Bieber. So that's not just success, man. That's a freaking blueprint, all right? So, what exactly is the Leading Vibe Initiative, also known as the LVI? Times launched it in Nigeria with a very clear mission, which is to mentor, to train, and to empower the next generation of women in music. So here's the reality: in Africa and in the world at large, women face serious challenges. We have few opportunities to perform live. We have pay gaps compared to male artists. There's gender stereotypes about who can headline and who fits certain genres, and almost no mentorship or infrastructure to support young women to break in, right? Tem said enough is enough. She founded LVI, which is creating safe spaces for women to learn. I remember her saying in so many interviews how she had to dress up in baggy clothes, to attend studio sessions, and wanted to create platforms where women feel safe even going to studios. And I guess the beginning is with, the leading, the LVI initiative, the Leading Vibe initiative, right? So she wants to create spaces, safe spaces for women to learn from songwriting to stage performance to music business. It's about giving young women the tools, the confidence, and the network to own their voices in a male dominated space. So the initiative has already started workshops, mentorship programs, and training sessions in Nigeria. And of course, the vision is to expand across Africa. So make sure you go online, check out this initiative. Stay tuned for when they, come to your city, to your country. Make sure you jump on. Make sure you put on any woman in music that you know to this initiative, just to see, what Thames is doing for the women, and for the culture. Yeah, now let's unpack why this is so important. Why does such an initiative matter so much, especially now? Because when women are supported, the entire industry grows. Look at Beyonce's Renaissance tour, right? It pumped $4 billion, man, into the global economy. Or selling out stadiums worldwide. Imagine if more African women or more women in general and had that kind of infrastructure and investment behind them, right? We're talking about Thames planting seeds for an entire freaking generation. Women who will build from this initiative and become global stars, right? Just like Thames. And here's the thing, it's not just about the stars on stage. LVI also inspires women behind the scenes, right? Producers, sound engineers, stage managers, event curators, event managers. Um, the industry needs women in all these roles to make live music inclusive and sustainable. Alright, so let's bring it back home. I always like to draw parallels in Africa, and since Tems is from Africa, now I'll draw parallels here at home. Um, so of course, we have to have this conversation around women who are also creating such spaces or who have built their own independent careers, right? So we've seen women like Fena Gitu, who built a career for on her own terms, blending hip hop, R&B, Afrofusion, stuff like that, and she's doing phenomenal. She's successful with that. We've seen Mudhoni Drama Queen, who not only takes music, but also produces Blankets and Wine, which is one of East Africa's biggest live music events. These women aren't just performing; they are building, platforms. They're building platforms for other women. In South Africa, I can say we have people like Shoma Josie who've built also independent um, careers, and they've mixed rap with songa culture and put African identity on the global stage. And of course, still in Nigeria, we have artists like Tiwa Savage, who has opened doors for female pop stars years before even Tems hit the scene. So all these women prove that when women in general get the mic or the budget, we don't just participate, we transform the culture. We impact global economies. So Tems initiative isn't just about Nigeria. It speaks to a larger movement happening across the continent, a movement where women aren't asking for seats at the table anymore. We're building our own, right? So here's some takeaways. The Leading Vibe initiative is more than a program. It's a statement that the future of Africa music cannot happen without women leading it, right? Tems is using a global spotlight to empower others, and that's the kind of legacy that lasts longer than any chart-topping hit, right? The number of women who are going to benefit from this program, probably me included. It's way beyond a chart topping hit. Yeah. So as women in hip hop and R&B, as Queendom, um, as women in music in Africa and beyond, this is our moment to connect, to create, and to claim space. And platforms like Queendom, that's why we exist, to keep these stories alive, to amplify these voices, and to remind the world that the queendom is rising. The queendom is indeed here. The queens are ruling this business. You know what I mean? So thank you for tuning in to May the Queendom Come. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe, share it with a friend, and join the conversation, of course, here on YouTube. We are on YouTube. We're also on Spotify and Apple Music podcasts. So make sure you tune in and join the conversation. Comment on YouTube. Join our social media platforms and follow us on our social media platforms and connect with us there. Yeah, which women in your community are leading the vibe? Let's celebrate them together. Until next time, stay loud, stay proud, and may the queendom always come. Bye.